Hi there, it's Quilting Nerd today with a bit of a raspy voice. It's allergy season. Today I want to continue with you the meander design variations and with how many different ideas we can come up with to make this design more versatile, even more versatile, because I think meander is anyway great to travel all around your quilt and finish it very fast, but it doesn't have to be simple. We can also add some small embellishments, and we had some 5 examples in the last video. Thank you so much for so many views and so many wonderful comments, and let's continue. So again, warm up a simple meander, just up and down, quilting those wavy lines around the corners. I hope now this thread is better visible. Yes, we can see the shape very nicely. I actually don't need that one. Now it's better. It's actually my second take for this video, because in the first one the fabric was more green, and green is very difficult to video. It reflects too much. So now that's the basic meander, and if you remember from my previous video, if you didn't watch it, please do. We were concentrating on variations that we were adding when we were kind of turning in. So we were adding some different variations of swirls. We were going back, then we were continuing with the meander. We were also adding the elements on the outside of this little hook, and we were continuing. So let's, with those fresh lessons in mind, let's continue with the variation number 6, and that would be adding a pebble with an echo on the outside. It can be smaller, it can be larger. It is similar to the swirl variation. So we are turning in, we are making a small one, and then actually it's better if you are going back, traveling till we are at the crest of our wavy line, and we go on. Back, because we want to have this momentum for the meander. Pebble, going back. I actually have to check if I didn't show that one to you already. Nope, that was only a single one. But you can already see how many variations we can have if we will just add something like an echo line. So let me repeat that a few times, still as a kind of warm-up and refreshment from the last lesson, and then we will continue with new. Now we have a bit larger space here, and we would like to fill it while being smart about it. So we can, in this case, just make very small element here, and then just add a smaller wavy line with less pronounced shape, and we are out again. I have a wool fleece this time, and it has wrinkles, so its thickness varies locally, and that's why I have to adjust my foot position so I can glide just above the surface, and that's much nicer quilting experience. Small pebble, going back, traveling, so that ties us very nicely with the previous video. Now let's add a little bit more leafy character to our meander, and for that we continue with our meander shape, and as we go here we are adding extra twist and we are quilting the paisley, and then we continue turning in, adding the paisley, and it's totally different character again. It's much more organic, especially if you decide to add an extra element of the line inside of our leaf, and suddenly instead of meander we have a wonderful vine, a plant wriggling, growing across our quilt. Don't rush, let it grow simply organically. So let's go back so we can continue with our sinus shape. This exercise is great to practice your directional skills and your flexibility and ability to create variations of your designs, so you are not getting bored, because sometimes we have large quilts or only a single. It was a little bit too flat, just as you've seen. So I will just go around here, it's not a problem. Now I will turn more in, and that's the way we want to go. And as you can see, I am trying to keep my meander movement as continuous as possible. So let's add a few more. We are always going back here to this cresting point and then moving here. And remember, all of it starts with the shape of this simple basic meander, and from all of it grows, from this single shape we can derive so many different variations. So that would be the variations number 2. And now let's continue with the leafy organic character, but instead of adding the shapes when we are turning in, let me grab this. We always so far added the shapes when we were turning in. So we were quilting our wavy line, and then instead of going down and continue, we were turning in, and at this point we were adding our element and going back, and then we continue with our line. Now let's see what happens when we will add the element on the other side. So let's remember, let's start with the basic shape. That means the one where we are adding just skinny swirl. And here, let's just add such separate standing S-curve. No, it's better that way still. And skinny swirl and S shape. We are traveling here in this variation. Swirl, back, and here we have to add a little bit more on the side because we have other elements reported before. And a small change, and we have suddenly a motif that fits on all Christmas or winter like quilts, for example. Very light, very elegant, holding its own but without attracting too much attention. So perfect if you have some rich fabric or detailed piecing. Swirl, going back, line, going back, and we continue with the meander shape. Swirl, travel, and of course remember to reposition your hand so you're not quilting like this, like I was doing right now. Oops, something with my bobbin. Let's check that and we will continue in a moment. Let's continue. So now here I have to just add some simple ones. And now let's add another element. So let's keep the swirl, and here instead of line, let's add a leaf. That's, as you can see already, the complexity of our designs is increasing, or at least for me, because I have some problems quilting those leafy shapes. I always have to concentrate extra for that. We can make some close up a bit more. when I'm using too much zoom, then the image can become unsharp, not good quality, because the camera does not know where to adjust the focus. And again, that would be a great pattern to use in a sachet. As you can see, just by changing one element, we have two elements the same. So the basic meander shape and the skinny swirl. And just by changing the element on the outside of my wave, I have completely different design. So sometimes there are two swirls on the same side, kind of, but it depends on how well I can turn within certain area and how I can twist my meander. So that looks beautiful, even if maybe that's only my opinion, but it's important to like your own work, because there is nothing more discouraging if you're finishing with a creative activity and you're your harshest critic, because that takes lots of joy away from the activity, in my opinion. So let's meander, let's quilt, and let's enjoy those wonderful organic shapes we have here. So let me take a look how many variations we have already. So we have the pebbles with echo, we have the paisley leaves, skinny leaves, and normal leaves. That would mean 4 designs. So let's try one more and maybe some bonus. And let's see a short variation. So let's see what happens if we will, instead of the skinny swirl, we will make more complex swirl, and we will change the shape of our leaves to more round ones. So it's like quilting a plume at your feather. So let's add your really swirl, and here let's quilt this half heart shape. And as you can see, that gives us another variation of our meander design. You can play with the sizes anyway, because it's all over design, so it is actually better if you use it on a larger scale, and then your projects can be quilted in a very fast fashion and still have this nice and light texture. Yeah, so once more. A bit more than swirl. This is not the last possibility to modify this design. Let's call it variation 5A, because your leaf can have a heart shape. And this is simply pure fun. It's getting dark in here. Let me check if I can add a little bit more of the natural light. Yep, that should work. Sooner or later there will be a booklet containing more details on those designs. I am just working on a booklet with exercise sheets for the 24 stripes, 24 designs video series. It's almost finished. Everything depends how much time I will have next weekend. And soon there should be available as a PDF that you can buy and then simply print and practice for your own projects. And it's always nice to have reference for all the ideas that you may like and want to practice a little bit more. Let's go over the ideas that we had today. We started again with a simple meander and a small repetition of the designs we used last time. So the simple skinny swirls and the elements with this, which I refer to as peacock design because of this little element. And then we moved to our first design for today, where in reference to the previous designs, I continued with adding new elements at the turning in phase. So for this swirl element, this time we had a pebble with an echo. I'm all the time showing you this and not showing you in the camera. That's not good. And so that was the first design, number 1. Design number 2 consisted with from our basic meander shape and a paisley leaf added on the inside of our sinus wave. Design number 3 was a little bit more complex because there we had our skinny swirl as the most simple variation, and then we were adding an S curve on the outside at about at the same height. It was a very elegant, very minimalistic design that could be modified further by modifying the S curve to a leaf shape, and it simply changed completely the dynamic of the design. Another variation was adding a paisley leaf or a plume, feather plume on the outside next to a swirl, which is the variations we had, the simpler variations we had my last video, and now just we are adding on the other side such a very basic paisley shape. And it's again completely different design. If you want to have some fun, you can change the paisley leaf on the outside by a heart design, which is a little bit more fun, more perfect if you have lots of flowers on your quilt and it's a nice girly quilt. These were the 6 designs for today, and I think I will still have, let me check my notes. I still should have maybe 4 or 5 more for you in a bonus video, but we will talk about it when we will get there. I hope you like it. I hope it will be useful. I hope it inspires you to finish some of your work in progress projects. Please let me know if that was a helpful video. I love getting your comments. I'm trying to answer them as soon as I'm getting them, sometimes with the next video depending on the workload, but I do try to answer all of my comments I'm getting. I wish you a wonderful day and wonderful week. I wish you optimism and positive view on the world. I think that's, we all need a little bit energy for that. Have a wonderful week and hopefully see you soon. Bye.